Making headlines. The foreign minister affirms that the Maldives will play a pivotal role in the SIDS conference. The foreign ministry affirms that Maldivian travelers visiting Sri Lanka will not experience any challenges in obtaining on-arrival visas. And the special advisor to the president states that the modifications made to certain government positions by the president aims to ensure the smooth functioning of the parliament. Welcome to the English News. I'm your host Malak Ahmad Fayaz. Now for the news in detail. Minister of Foreign Affairs Musa Zamir affirms that the Maldives will play a pivotal role in the 4th Conference of Small Island Developing States (SIDS). The significant conference will be held from May 27 to 30th in Antigua and Barbuda. The 4th SIDS conference will be attended by a high-profile delegation led by President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu. The President's office disclosed that Minister of Climate Change, Environment and Energy Tariq Ibrahim, Minister of Housing, Land and Urban Development Dr. Ali Haidar Ahmad, and the Special Envoy for Climate Change Ali Sharif will attend the conference along with the President. In a post circulated on social media, Minister of Foreign Affairs Musa Zamir highlighted the dedicated efforts of the Maldives to organize the conference as the co-chair of the Preparatory Committee of SIDS 2024. The minister further revealed plans to address the various challenges faced by small and developing countries in overcoming the devastating effects caused due to climate change. Furthermore, Minister Tariq affirmed comprehensive discussions pertaining to the financial assistance to combat the impacts of climate change in small nations. Highlighting that the Maldives will be organizing 3 activities for the conference, the minister disclosed that the Maldives will shed light on the adaptation issues within the nation and projects which can be launched with a public-private partnership in the national side event. Speaking regarding the conference, Special Envoy for Climate Change Ali Sharif asserted that the conference will advocate for amending the policies in which the financial assistance is provided to small countries. The 4th SIDS conference will focus on strategies to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, along with other significant issues. This year, the theme of the conference is Charting the Course Towards Resilient Prosperity, aiming to implement significant initiatives to the way for vulnerable and small countries to achieve prosperity. A total of 39 countries are members of the SIDS. Ministry of Foreign Affairs affirms that Maldivian travelers visiting Sri Lanka will not experience any challenges in obtaining on-arrival visas. The announcement was made during a time in which the government of Sri Lanka brought some amendments to the tourist visa arrangement services for the tourists traveling to the nation. Providing details on the on-arrival visas, the ministry stated that Maldivians will continue to receive visas upon arrival, valid for a time frame of 30 days as per the policy. For visits exceeding 30 days, travelers can apply for a 6-month visa through the e-visa portal. However, the ministry disclosed the implementation of an administrative fee if tourists request for visa extension, unlike previously. It additionally assured that discussions are underway to waive the fees charged. Furthermore, the ministry affirmed the assistance from the High Commission of the Maldives in Colombo in Sri Lanka to extend visas for Maldivians currently residing in the nation who require visa extensions. It emphasized ongoing discussions to uphold the visa waiver agreements between both nations, ensuring mutual benefits and arrangements. Special Advisor to the President Abdul Rahim Abdullah states that the modifications made to certain government positions by President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu aims to ensure the smooth and seamless functioning of the Parliament, with the ultimate objective of achieving the commitments outlined in the government's manifesto. Speaking at a program aired on PSMNEWS, parliamentarian Abdul Rahim Abdullah revealed that changes are inevitable during the 5-year tenure of the administration. He highlighted that such modifications were made during the tenure of previous administrations as well. Observing that some governments do not change the appointees regardless of not working up to desired level, Abdul Rahim stressed that the ruling party People's National Congress (PNC) will bring modifications if the appointed individuals do not work to meet the government's expectations. He elucidated that the modifications brought to some government positions by President Dr. Muizzu aims to ensure the expeditious completion of developmental projects and initiatives launched while ensuring the smooth running of the Parliament. Additionally, Abdul Rahim disclosed that the resignations of some parliamentarians were their own personal affairs, cautioning against criticism if the resignation was due to dissatisfaction. He further affirmed that the modifications brought will not hinder the functioning of the administration. Minister of Economic Development and Trade Mohammad Saeed announces that the potential for cooking salt production in the Maldives is being explored. He made the statement during a press conference on the Economic Ministry's activities. Speaking at the press conference, Minister Saeed emphasized the government's priority on maximizing the use of the natural resources in the Maldives. As such, he said that the Business Center Corporation BCC, a government company, has been tasked with investigating the feasibility of producing cooking salt locally. Additionally, Minister Saeed mentioned ongoing discussions with the United Nations Development Programme UNDP to secure funding for their research. He highlighted that the Maldives currently imports various grades of salt and the government's goal is to achieve self-sufficiency in salt production within the next 5 years. Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Resources Ahmad Shiam emphasizes the need for equal opportunities for all participants in the fish trade market. He made the remarks while speaking at the 18th InfoFish World Tuna Trade Conference and Exhibition. Speaking at the conference, Minister Shiam highlighted the significant challenges that developing countries such as the Maldives face in competing within the global market. He stressed the necessity of removing barriers that small developing nations encounter when trying to access international markets. He also detailed the government's initiatives to enhance surveillance and improve fisheries infrastructure to combat illegal fishing. Additionally, Minister Shiam underscored the detrimental impact of illegal fishing, noting that it threatens the livelihoods of fishermen and fishing-dependent communities. He pointed out that illegal fishing undermines the efforts of countries like the Maldives that they are committed to sustainable fishing practices. The InfoFish World Tuna Trade Conference and Exhibition took place alongside the high-level ministerial meeting on sustainable fisheries in Bangkok, Thailand, and was attended by fish traders and international organizations. Chair of the Housing Committee, Aminat Inas, reveals that important recommendations have been sent to the Ministry of Housing, Land and Urban Development. The Housing Committee, established on February 24th, aims to provide advice and assistance in resolving issues related to the Bimveria and Gedorveria housing schemes. The permanent list of flat recipients under the housing scheme was released just days before the end of last government's tenure. Even that over 7,000 complaints were filed alleging that flats had been granted to individuals who were not entitled to the list. Addressing the case, the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC issued an order to the ministry requesting the rectification of the flat allocation and resolving each other's problems. Despite the submission of over 300 complaints and no action by the ministry, ACC ordered the allocation of flats to be suspended until the matter is thoroughly investigated. Speaking to PSMNEWS, chair of the committee, Inas revealed that a total of 26 committee meetings were held so far. She highlighted the ongoing effort to further investigate cases closely and address the complaints filed regarding the list of flat recipients publicized. Noting that the committee was not permitted to disclose any details on the investigations, all the necessary information pertaining to the cases was shared with Minister of Housing, Land and Urban Development, Dr. Ali Haider Ahmad. Furthermore, Inas underscored the significance of consulting every recommendation given by the committee, as the cases are sensitive issues interrelated with the lives of individuals. ACC has not published the flat list composed. The Commission has circulated the list to relevant authorities and the Parliament. Inas affirmed that efforts are underway to hand over the flats and submit the reports to the Ministry in a timely manner. She further revealed hopes to expedite the process and ensure the allocation of flats to the eligible beneficiaries as soon as possible. Minister of Youth Empowerment, Information and Arts Ibrahim Wahid underscores the pivotal role associations play to enhance the development and societal ties of the islands. The remarks were made by the minister during the inaugural ceremony of a seminar designated for associations, which was held in Willingili, Gafalif Atoll. Speaking at the ceremony, Minister Wahid revealed that the primary objective of the seminar is to identify the challenges in running civil associations and organizations and to address such issues. The minister stated that such a seminar can only produce the anticipated results with the participation of associations operating in various parts across the nation. He additionally disclosed that the seminar was officiated under the recommendation of President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu. Highlighting the crucial importance of associations to achieve significant progress in development, social affairs and other fields, Minister Wahid reiterated the overarching goal of the ministry to empower civil associations and organizations. As such, the minister disclosed that the opportunity to submit proposals for funding community empowerment efforts and activities are open for the associations. He stated that the information will be provided at the seminar. Furthermore, Minister Wahid affirmed that the commencement of this seminar marks a historic milestone, revealing plans to conduct similar sessions in various regions across the country. In addition, he gave the confirmation that the ministry will continue to provide the necessary human resources required to empower the associations. The seminar will be attended by civil associations and organizations, island councils, women's development committees, WDCs, Ministry of Social and Family Development, Maldives Police Service MPS, and employees working in the atoll. While over 60 participants will attend the event, decisions have been made such that informative sessions on various topics will be discussed within the seminar. The seminar will be held from May 25th to 27th. Housing Development Corporation Limited HDC issues a directive mandating the removal of safaris within the coastal vicinity of the reclaimed land of Hurumale Phase 3. HDC issued this directive stating that the entry of landing crafts into the dredging area causes significant damages to safaris, noting that dangerous incidents have occurred. Therefore, the corporation ordered the removal of safaris by May 30th. Following the completion of the first phase of dredging 10 hectares of land in Hurumale Phase 3, the second phase commenced on December 30th, 2023. 5 out of the 29 hectares have been reclaimed up to date under the second phase of the project. Meanwhile, the third phase involves dredging an additional 24 hectares of land. On a previous stance, HDC stated that the reclaimed land will be allocated for housing, industrial and marine purposes. Additional decisions have been made to allocate land plots specialized for the residents living in Male City. The pace of Japanese inflation slows in April as gas bills fell. Government data showed raising questions about when the Bank of Japan will hike interest rates again. The consumer price index, excluding volatile fresh food prices, came in at 2.2% compared with the 2.6% logged in March by the Internal Affairs Ministry. The figure was in line with market expectations and comes even as the weak yen inflates prices for imported goods. Taro Kimura from Bloomberg Economics said that the data probably reflects a move by companies to restrain price hikes in response to sluggish consumer demand. It said that the core gauge is still above the Bank of Japan's 2% target, and the latest data is unlikely to deter the central bank from normalizing policy. While the United States, US, and other major economies have battled sky-high inflation in recent years, price rises in Japan have been less extreme. The Bank of Japan's long-standing ultra-loose monetary policies are meant to banish stagnation and deflation from the world's number 4 economy. It is targeting sustainable demand-driven inflation of 2% as opposed to inflation caused by unstable, temporary factors such as the war in Ukraine. In March, in part, thanks to meeting its target, the BOJ hiked borrowing cost rates for the first time since 2007. Some analysts have predicted its next rise could come in the summer or October. The central bank appears confident that a virtuous wage price cycle will buoy inflation going forward, Kimura said, referring to expectations that rises in wages will help realize the sustainable inflation sought by bank officials. Other major central banks, including the US Federal Reserve, still have much higher interest rates, and the wide differential has put huge pressure on the yen, which hit a 34-year low last month. Negotiations on a landmark global agreement on handling future pandemics ends without a deal, though countries say they wanted to keep pushing for an accord. Scarred by the devastation caused by COVID-19, which killed millions of people, shredded economies and crippled health systems, countries have spent 2 years trying to hammer out binding commitments on pandemic prevention, preparedness and response. The talks gathered momentum in the final weeks but failed to meet a final deadline before next week's World Health Assembly, the annual gathering of the World Health Organization, WHO's 194 member states. This is not a failure, WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus insisted as the talks ended at the UN Health Agency's headquarters in Geneva. He urged countries to see it as a good opportunity to re-energize. He commented that the world still needs a pandemic treaty and the world needs to be prepared. The assembly, which runs from Monday until June 1st, will take stock and decide what to do next. The talks co-chairs Roland Dries and Precious Matsoso told reporters that countries clearly wanted to reach a final agreement. Dries said the draft they would send to the assembly was not an agreed document, but it is a document, and they started with a blank sheet of paper. After arm twisting, horse trading and 3M finishes as the talks ramped up, Matsoso said 17 pages out of 32 had been fully agreed by countries. The main disputes revolved around access to pathogens detected within countries and to pandemic-fighting products such as vaccines derived from the knowledge. Other tricky topics were sustainable financing, pathogen surveillance, supply chains, and the equitable distribution of tests, treatments, and jabs, but also the means to produce them. As the talks closed, the countries who took the floor stressed their commitment. Barcelona sacks coach Xavi Hernandez after the Catalan Giants failed to win a trophy this season, but just weeks since he and club president Joan Laporta agreed he would stay in the post. Xavi will take charge of the team's final La Liga match on Sunday at Sevilla before departing. Barcelona in a statement said that President Joan Laporta has told Xavi Hernandez he will not continue as coach for the 2024-25 season. Former Bayern Munich and Germany coach Hansi Flick is heavily tipped to replace Xavi. In January, Xavi said that he would leave at the end of the season, but after a run of strong form, in April he and President Laporta agreed the coach could stay for the next campaign, with his contract expiring in June 2025. However, the situation quickly changed, with Spanish media reporting Laporta was angered by Xavi's comments, suggesting it was hard for the financially hamstrung club to compete with Real Madrid and other elite European sides. Flick has not coached since Germany sacked him in 2023 after a poor run of results. Previously, Flick steered Bayern to a treble in 2020, including an 8-2 thrashing of Barcelona in the Champions League quarter-finals. Barcelona won the Liga last season but were not able to successfully defend the title. They were knocked out of the Champions League in the quarter-finals by Paris Saint-Germain, were hammered by Real Madrid in the Spanish Super Cup final, and lost to Athletic Bilbao in the Copa del Rey. When Xavi made his U-turn to stay, it appeared he and Barcelona were remaining together in a marriage of convenience. Less than a month later, Barcelona's fiery president changed his mind. Xavi insisted over the past fortnight he will still look forward to coaching the club next season and felt he had the confidence of Laporta. SpaceX announces that Starship, the world's most powerful rocket, is set for its next test flight on June 5th. It will be the fourth test for the sleek mega rocket, which is vital to NASA's plans for landing astronauts on the moon later this decade, and to SpaceX CEO Elon Musk's hopes of eventually colonizing Mars. 3 previous attempts have ended in the Starship's destruction, all part of what the company says is an acceptable cost in its rapid trial and error approach to development. SpaceX said in a statement that the fourth flight turns their focus from achieving orbit to demonstrating the ability to return and reuse Starship and Super Heavy. Super Heavy is the booster, while Starship refers to both the upper stage and the two stages combined. The flight path will be similar to the third test, which took place in March and saw Starship fly halfway around the globe before it was eventually lost as it re-entered the atmosphere over the Indian Ocean. This time around, SpaceX hopes to achieve a soft splashdown for the booster stage in the Gulf of Mexico and a controlled entry for the upper stage. Designed to eventually be fully reusable, Starship stands 121 meters tall with both stages combined. Its Super Heavy booster produces 16.7 million pounds of thrust, almost double that of the world's second most powerful rocket, NASA Space Launch System, though the latter is now certified while Starship is still a prototype. SpaceX's strategy of carrying out tests in the real world rather than in labs has paid off in the past. Its Falcon 9 rockets have come to be workhorses for NASA in the commercial sector. Its Dragon capsule sends astronauts and cargo to the International Space Station, and its Starlink internet satellite constellation now covers dozens of countries. That's all the news we have for today. Thank you all for watching.